Hi there, Jude. Miss Livery here. On the ground here at Sydney Airport today. We'll be flying from Sydney Airport to Sydney Airport with a load of punters who have purchased essentially a joy flight with Qantas Airlines 747. We'll be flying this one right here. Wunula, it's not Wunula Dreaming anymore. It's OEJ Wunula. It used to be Wunula Dreaming when they had it painted all red with the Aborigine colours on it. But sometime around 2013 they repainted her in standard Qantas livery. The only vestige of that Wunula Dreaming is a little kangaroo just behind the cockpit. Special day today. This will be the last time that a 747-400 Qantas fleet at least carries passengers out of Sydney Airport. Real life event of that happened just a few hours ago. Leaving runway 16 at Sydney, flying over Sydney Harbour, up towards Gosford, down over Richmond, and through the Sydney Basin past the Blue Mountains, down to Camden, then out to the shoreline just north of Wollongong, before heading back up towards Sydney. Prices for passengers on the flight, $400 for economy and $747 for business. Qantas left the top deck free for staff only. There was a special staff event on the top deck, so public at the bottom deck all to themselves, including with a full service from the cabin crew. Not a full aeroplane. They did have to leave every second seat spare for some kind of viratic reason. Anyway, right now we'll be jumping into this aircraft, which will be cold and dark as we enter it via the stairs up here. One quick squiz of a couple of little details here. We'll see we are fully chocked. There won't be any baggage in the baggage holds today. It'll have 30,000 tonne of fuel. 30,000 kilograms, sorry. Daniel Hammond has shared the link. Very good. The Qantas 747 group on Facebook. That's intense. Didn't expect that. Hopefully I will be able to match essentially what they did today. Have been looking at the flight plan from FlightAware 24, Flight Radar 24, and also FlightAware. As we walk around the aircraft today, just having a look at some of the external inspection, including the lights out there. Hello to all my stream buddies, moderators, Toilet Inspector, Dan, TK and Nick, Ava Edinburgh. We're doing the walk around using the Control-Shift-E. That should spawn some kind of avatar out here. We had to repaint this guy to make him nice and piloty, otherwise he'd just get a kind of like dude in a white shirt. Yeah, that's default feature prepared version 4 onwards. So Control, Shift and E will get you the walk around dude. Down here we have an outflow valve on the 7.4. Big aircraft. And I see we have an object over there that we need to remove from the scenery at some point. No more 747s in Sydney after essentially tomorrow. This one's going up to Brisbane. And we'll be doing a very similar event in Brisbane tomorrow. And then one in Canberra. None for Melbourne, because we're in lockdown. And then after that, it will be retired off into the Mojave Desert. Quick squeeze at the landing gear here. 18 wheeler. 18 tyres on a 747. Blue Jeans guy has decided to take the day off, and we have Mr. Proper Professional Pilot guy with a shirt on, in a high vis. Quick check under the engines. Walking along just under the wing here. Catch any puddles. We'll check that the red light is red. Then we'll jump on board and have a look at our flight plans. Red light is red. As you can see, we have 2 doors attached today. Quick squeeze up here at the angle of attack sensors. Pitot probes up there. And good old EJ, Echo Juliet. Let's head on up. Welcome to the cockpit of our 747-400. Very tidy little office this is. Standby power off. Just checking that everything is ready to go. And the hydraulics are all off. Cool. We'll connect power. While we wait for the aircraft to boot up, we'll have a look at what we're doing with our flying today. We're taking almost a VFR tour of Sydney in a 7-4. It's pretty intense. So I've got the old VTC out. We're going to depart runway 16 right, make a nice right hand turn, and we'll hopefully be able to track straight overhead Georges River Bridge, straight up to Ryder Bridge, which will be at 210 knots, some flap out, probably flap 5. We'll then fly along just the northern shore of Sydney Harbour, pop over the bridge, and then into a kind of left-hand orbit here over Sydney. So between Sydney Harbour and Sydney Heads, we'll just take a single loop all the way through around like that. Leaving Sydney Heads the second time, we'll track northbound towards a place called Patonga, which is on the Hawkesbury River. Cross the Hawkesbury River up towards Gosford, just tap onto the kind of southern end of Lake Tuggerah, and then shoot back down towards Brooklyn Bridge. From Brooklyn we'll head out to Richmond. We may not necessarily fly over the Richmond Air Force Base, but we'll request clearance from Sydney approach to see how close we can get into it. From there we'll hopefully pop back down towards the Sydney City, hopefully displaying the other side of the aircraft to the bridge. My suggestion is to track overhead Laserville Bridge so that we don't cross the centre line. Then we'll make our way outwards to Camden, essentially fly over Camden Airfield at somewhere around 2,000 feet. Tracking out to Seacliff Bridge, which is on the south coast. And then after that we'll track out back to the Sydney Heads before making an entry into runway 16. Flight time about 50 minutes. Have just under 200 tonne of zero fuel weight today. Now the minimum release fuel was 26, so I've decided to add another 4,000. That'll give us an extra 30 minutes, just in case we're in a couple of laps extra. That gives us a 30 1,000 kilogram fuel upload and a minimum takeoff fuel of 26,500. That's the flight plan. Initial climb 1,500 across the city. So kind of taken the 747 into Cessna land today. If you look at the real track from the real aircrafts, we have essentially this. Departing the gate, they pushed out, headed out to the runway. Runway 16, right. Pushing out over the bay, tapping over Wunala, and then over to essentially George's River Bridge. That's Tom Ugley's bridge for those that live near there. From there we tracked straight up to the Ride Bridge, and then a nice turn over the harbour. Southbound turn before we start a left-hand circuit. Once around before we head northbound. From the north we head straight up the coastline to Batonga, which is right there. Up to Lake Tuggerah. Into a U-turn at 200 and they're doing 280 knots. Flaps up clearly. It's 7,500, nearly 8,000 feet. Then they began a descent just overhead the bridge. That's Brooklyn Bridge on the Hawkesbury River. Down to Richmond. Just short of Richmond they made a turn straight to the harbour. Back over the bridge. At this point they're down at 2,000 feet. They crossed directly overhead Sydney Airfield and then straight on to Camden. Making the turn at Camden about 5,000 feet, 220 knots. Down to the Seacliff Bridge. Before they quite got there, they're heading, that's almost Cordo Reservoir. Heading back up through Botany Bay, up to the Sydney Heads, and then this really nice tight visual approach, runway 16 right. Left-hand approach on 16 right. Hopefully we can do something like that today. It's essentially what we filed. But we'll see how air traffic control are able to handle us. Just going to pop up a few charts as well from Air Services Australia. We're currently parked on gate number 10. After departure we'll be taxiing out via Bravo 2. Now the real aircraft had a water cannon salute just somewhere around the domestic 1 area, Bravo 2, on the way out. 3,900 metres of runway, and we'll get our way out. Alrighty, so how do we do this in the FMS, you might answer. It takes a while, let's do it. Going to start the IRS alignment process, since that'll take a little while. Going to click on the emergency lights, that's done. Going to do a couple of tests, checking the fire system, checking the second time. Cool, fire system's good. Going to check our lamps. So the lamp test over here just lights up every light in the cockpit while you hold it down. Every button has a light, all the autopilot buttons, and of course down here we have all the 8s. So everything displays 888. That's good. Down here we have oxygen. Barely need to use that today because we're going to be below 10,000 feet the whole time. I'll still be slightly pressurizing the cabin. Nothing major down here to look at. There's an evacuation system and the flight attendant headphone. 7 minutes to alignment. Just going to pop into the FMS. First thing to do is grab the position like that. Take your current GPS position, stick it in the bottom. Obviously we're at Sydney Airport, YSSY. Click on the route, YSSY. Guess where we're going? Back to Sydney again. Sydney to Sydney. Now I could do a co-route loading, but I thought I might as well show you guys how we do this flight plan. So QFA 747 set. And I'm going to go into the legs page now. So firstly activate, since we just want to have a flight plan. Hit the legs page, and the very first thing that I think we did was fly out via, I saw it kind of went straight out on the runway heading to, what's out there? Cronulla's out there. So the Cronulla waypoint CR, what's it? CUL. Now the good thing is you can find out the waypoints in Australia. VFR waypoints encoded. It's every single waypoint in Australia, and I'm sure that Cronulla is in there. There we are. Cronulla, CUL, and there's a bunch of random gibberish, as you might call it. I'm going to zoom into that random gibberish now. Just make sure we have the CUL one. So the very first waypoint is going to be south 3403.4. And in Boeing language we have it the S first. So south 3403.4. We're going to get that many digits. We don't get the 2. And 151 east, so east first, 151. 09.1. Set. The next one is that Georges River Bridge. What do you call that? GRB. Okay. Georges River Bridge, GRB. Second waypoint of the day. Now on the real aircraft they would have done this in the office and sent it via the ACARS link. But since most of you won't have that, let's do it this way. So south and east, 151.063. What's the next one after that? I think it is the Ryde Bridge. Yep. RYB. Unfortunately, these waypoints aren't in the system. That's letting you know. And east 151. 05.3. Cool. Next one after Ryde Bridge would be good old Sydney Harbour Bridge. Harbour Bridge, HBB. And there we go. South 33, 51.12, east 151, 12.3. Now we'll probably fly some of these slightly visual as well, but getting the waypoints into the FMS just makes it that much easier if we get lost. City heads. SYHD. South 3350.0. East 151.173. They all look like the same waypoint, but they're not. Right, after the heads, let's do a hold at the heads. And it'll be a left hand with a 1 nautical mile. Once around the hold, and we'll leave the hold heading up to Patonga. Patonga's easy because it's actually written on the map. There we go. South 33, 33, point essentially 0. Might go 0.1, just round it up. And east 151, 1.5 and 0.7. And we'll switch around to the Brooklyn Bridge. We'll fly this segment visually straight up. But the Brooklyn Bridge is south 33, 32 point, what's 27? Nearly 4. And east 151, 11.45 is about 7. After that, we're off to Richmond. Yep, let's do it. Richmond, RIC. I've got invalid entry on this one. What did we miss? We missed the thing after the decimal point, did we? Didn't put enough ones in. There we go. Brooklyn Bridge, 151.11. And 75 or so. Cool. After that, Richmond. According to this, they hit Sydney Harbour Bridge again. So we'll do Harbour. Harbour Bridge, HBB. South 33, 51.12. East 151, 12.5. And after that is essentially straight over Sydney Airport, TSAT. And after that, I think we went straight out to, yep, Camden. Cool. Couple more annoying waypoints left to go. Next one is the Seacliff Bridge, which we'll do as, there we go, South 34, 15.10, East 150, 58 and a half. I think we go straight up to Sydney Heads after that. Cool. South 33, 50.0, East 151, 17 and a half. And from there on, we pretty much just track as they want us to track. Yeah. After that, that's vectors. Cool. Obviously, we're departing from runway 16 right. Probably the Sydney too. We'll just stick it in now. Check that out. Vectors, blah, 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 blah. Good stuff. Looking good. Activate. Performance. So, zero fuel weight, 201.2. The reserves. Reserves are 30 minute? Yep, 30-minute reserve. That's 4 ton. And also the alternate, which is 4.7, so it's essentially 8.7. Cost in X. Doesn't matter because we're going to be flying it manually. 80 is a nice number in the 7.4. And the maximum altitude we'll be achieving today is 7,500. I'm going to stick, 7,000 in. Step size doesn't matter. We're going to be derating as much as we physically can on this one. Is that 79? Here it is. Cool. So a 79 temperature derate plus 20% derate plus climb to we're as light as can be for a 7.4. 747s don't normally operate this light. It's barely an hour flight. These things can go 14 hours. Takeoff data will be flaps 10. Center of gravity Mach trim. Set that in. Start boarding. Sure. And it was at 143 on the V2. Initial climb is going to be 1,500. This is going to be insane. Anyway, with that done, we've got an ATIS to listen to, 126.25. I'm going to log into the ACARS. This is going to be fun. Sydney to Sydney. Estimated time of departure UTC. What's the current time? Showing 23:27. Go 20:00. Sounds good to me. On the hour. Clearly we are QF. And about 55 minutes of en route time. Some of this is going to be at 200 knots. Downlink, syncing up. It's going to step through all of our stuff. IRS is set. Route is done. And the thrust limit is set. Takeoff data's good to go. And we totally don't need those guys on the on the baggage. Let's cut the baggage. Ah, there we go. Got some passengers coming on. Alright, sitting ground 126.5, and we'll have a chat to him about our very strange flight plan. Oh, we hadn't listened to the ATIS properly. Never mind. Grab that, turn the radio on.
Right.
That'll help.
Parallel runway operations in progress. Independent departures in progress. Surface wind 220 degrees, 9 knots. Visibility 0 kilometers or more. Clouds to 2,500 feet. Scattered 8,000 feet. Broken 7,000 feet. Temperature +14. QNH1017. On first contact with Sydney ground or approach, notify receipt of hotel. Sydney Terminal Information Hotel. Expect IL South approach, then independent visual approach when visual. Do not pass through assigned runway center line. Runways 16 left and right. Parallel runway operations in progress. Independent departures in progress. Surface wind 220 degrees, 9 knots. Visibility 0 kilometers or more. Clouds to 2,500 feet. Scattered 8,000 feet. Broken 7,000 feet. Temperature +14. QNH1017. On first contact with Sydney ground or approach, notify receipt of hotel.
That's Information Hotel. Sitting ground, Qantas 747, domestic 10 is requesting a VFR clearance, 747 outbound via City Harbour. Hello, Reaper. How you doing?
Bridge, maintain 1,540.42, touch for P164.
Big VFR ops by the Harbour Bridge. 1,500, score code 4042, and departures 124.4, Apollo 747. 1,500, score code 4042. And we'll do a test on the TCAS. So looking at this, expecting 24.5 on the arrival. Okay, altimeter 1017. That's just the barometer pressure. Give us the altitude correctly at sea level. We won't be using LNAV, we'll be using manual speeds today. So flight director's in, we're going to add 20 knots to the VRF V2. That's 161. We can see there Wunula and the route that we put in.
56 of hotel attaching clearance to Melbourne.
So if we blast out here and make a nice little tight turn out towards the harbour, Parramatta River. Gonna go to centered mode. That there is Harbour Bridge. That's the Sydney heads. So my intention is to make a manual turn slightly to the right to bring us into a nice position on Sydney heads. We'll do an entire orbit right around there and we'll shoot northbound.
You clear to Melbourne.
Up here is Batonga. We'll continue that line up into a nice U-turn here. Once we hit that, we'll head out towards Windsor Richmond.
Cleared from Melbourne via Wollongong, planned route, Tina 7 departure, runway 16.
So the highest point is Batonga, about 7,000 feet. I'll make that U-turn, start our descent at Richmond to make sure that we're about 2,000 feet, passing over the Sydney Harbour Bridge, pass over the centre line of Sydney Airport, and then straight out to Camden. From there we head down to the Seacliff Bridge and then up onto back to the heads and make our approach into runway 16 visually.
Sydney ground, you're going to use 512 request clearance to Port Moresby.
Indeed, hopefully those passengers are excited. I would have been. Okay, I've got terrain. That's based on GPS data.
Sorry, could you say again?
Set to my side. Hello everyone, how you doing?
Any 512, you're clear to Port Moresby via Richmond, flying route. Any 7 fast service Richmond transition, flying by the 5000, 4517, Pushback T124.
Thanks for that, Twitch people. Hope you're doing well as well.
Cleared to Port Moresby, score 4517, you get a 512.
Passengers are done. Good stuff. 3's out of position, so we don't have the trucks waiting for us. And we'll probably shut the doors as well. Close everything.
And you can need 512 and ready a taxi straight ahead from it to runway 16.
City ground just 506 located room.
Not pass through assigned runway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard a very special Qantas Boeing 747 flight. Today we'll be flying over Sydney Harbour at an altitude of about 1,500 feet. We'll be flying up towards Gosford, then down across the Blue Mountains, back again across the Sydney Harbour, and then down south towards Wollongong before returning back to Sydney. Flight time today is about 55 minutes to an hour. Today will be the very last time that the Boeing 747-400 carries passengers from Sydney Airport. Today we have a very special flight crew for you today. An entire set of cabin crew who have volunteered to operate this flight with you today. On board we will have lots of goodies for you. which we'll be sharing across the cabin, including an entire show bag you may have received already. Anyhow, in a little while we'll be pushing back here from the gate and making our way out to runway 16 right before we make a relatively tight right-hand turn, make our way up towards the Parramatta River and then over the Sydney Harbour Ridge. We do thank you for flying with us today on Qantas Airlines and our special 747 service in celebration of the end of 747 operations with Qantas today. All profitable proceeds of this flight will go to the two aviation museums, the one in Longreach, the Qantas Founders Museum in Longreach, Queensland, and also to the Wollongong Historical Aircraft Restoration Society. Both of those museums have examples of Boeing 747s that Qantas used to own in the fleet at the museum as live static displays. As we did see here, we decided to make the price for business class tickets $747 as in 747, and all your economy class seats are $400 as this is a 400 series Boeing 747. I will leave you in the capable hands of the cabin crew now, who will take you through all of the safety procedures of the aircraft. I do ask that you pay them your full attention even if you have flown with a 747 before, as this is not your standard flight. That said, we'll be underway shortly, and I hope you have a very enjoyable time on board. Thank you for flying with us. Cabin crew, I'll leave it in your hands now. Okay, checklist. We want to be putting on the APU. Do that, I'll just charge up these first. And APU start. Checklist. So, safety check, battery is on, standby power is auto. Hydraulic demand pumps are off. Alternate flaps are off. Flap indication is up. Logbooks are checked. Circuit breakers are all normal. IRS is set to nav. Electrical system is set. Hydraulics set, all off. Ice protection is not required and off. Window heat is in. Fuel system is set. Fire switches all in. Emergency exit lights armed. Pressurization, air conditioning. You have normal set across the board. Altimeters set 1017. Oxygen masks normal and working. Source selectors both normal. Instrument set QNH 1017. I have 155 on the heading. Oil. Stand by. Oil, I'm showing 20 quarts, all engines. Okay, gear lever is down and I'm showing green. CDU has been set and activated. Fuel control switches, all four are cut off. Brakes are set. Cabin signs all on. ACARS. Showing ACARS data link and data link active. Just one sec. I have APU generator on the bus. And we can disconnect the ground power. ACAR set. Okay, that's up to the ACARs. Delayed engine start. We're just doing 1, 2, 3 and then 4. We'll hold 4 until the pushback truck is out. Okay, level takeoff weight, we're well under it. Thrust limit has been set. Maximum D rate and the D rate too. Parts will be 10 for departure. And I'm showing 161 for the V2 plus 20. Before start checklist. Number 4 hydraulic. Set auxiliary. Fuel pumps are on. Cross feeds are off. Beacon goes on. Doors, I believe are all closed. All closed, all armed. And seatbelt sign is on. Let's call for the truck.
Ground, star 5 Bravo, hold short, 25.
Just F5 to cross runway 25, taxi, golf, stand, domestic 36.
Cross 270, taxi, golf to base.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Thank you, Bush. We'll just be a minute.
Qantas 15A, race taxi.
Qantas 1580.
Locking here.
Bravo forward, departure.
Should be out here, Qantas 1580.
Qantas 1580, taxi, Charlie 2 to Honey Quay Bravo 4, runway 16 right.
Charlie 2 for the Bravo 4, holding point 1 for strike, Qantas 1580.
Just that 507, holding short 25, brother.
Qantas 2048, requesting pushback.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Sitting ground, Qantas 747, gate 10, information hotel, ready for push.
Qantas 2048, push approved. Brake, Qantas 747, push approved. Jet start, brake again, jet start 507, cross runway 25, golf, stand, domestic 40.
Charlie 25, golf, and then stand domestic 40. Just 507.
And have been push approved.
Open ground.
Tower East.
520.
Parking brake is released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Started well.
Did it start well? Starting number 1.
Taxi, Bravo, hold short 25.
Auto start, number 1.
Taxi Bravo, hold short 25, just stop 520.
Sydney ground, just 511, eyesight of Melbourne, request clearance.
Jet start 511, you're cleared to Melbourne by Wollongong flight time chart. Dina 7 departure with Wollongong transition, runway 16 right. Flying by the to 5000, 4502. Departure vacancy 124 then.
Cleared by the Dina 7 departure, Wollongong transition, runway 16 right. Climb by 5000, 4502, and departure is 124, decimal 4, just 511.
Any ground allowed. 41, something like 6, get that back there. Over.
Qantas 431 clear to Melbourne side, flight clearing route. Dina 7 departure, runway 16 right.
Good start, okay, that number 1.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are set.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Into Melbourne by the Wollongong, Batman Route. Unit 7 departure, climb by 657.
We'll start number 2.
4454 and the departure for Descom Block 1-31.
431. Cathay 102, contact tower 120.5 today.
Into number 2 set. And we'll wave off the truck. Ground clear to disconnect. We'll see you on the left hand side.
Unlocking gear.
Start okay at number 2. We'll start number 3. We'll hold on number 4.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Copy ground. We'll see you on the left hand side with the bypass pin. Thank you.
Qantas 2048 requesting taxi to runway 16 right.
Qantas 2048, taxi Charlie to the Bravo for Hog Point, runway 16 right.
Number 3 set.
Qantas 2048, taxi
Left is clear.
Charlie
Right is
to
clear.
Bravo for holding point.
Here it is.
Right. And Qantas 15A, we're sure 16 right at Bravo 4.
Qantas 1580, contact tower 120.5 today.
1205, have a good one, Qantas 15A.
Stop 520 holding.
And that's a good start.
For runway 25.
Number 3.
Jetstar 520, taxi, cross runway 25, taxi by Golf, stand domestic 35, midway to the Qantas 737.
Packs are all auto.
25 and
Waiting on engine number 4.
domestic 3, give way to the 737.
I've start checks.
Jetstar 520.
APU remains on for the moment. Hydraulic demand pumps are auto. Engine anti-ice is off. Packs are off and the wave off has been received. We'll take flaps. Flaps 10. Rudders and trims. Flight controls. Control checks are good. Stab trim. Plus 4.8.
204, contact tower 120.5 today.
Trim set.
Qantas 2048, contacting tower 124.
Engine ADR not required. Recall. Holding on the recall. Engine number 4. Transponder set and auto brakes RTO. Test the radar.
City ground, give a Oscar Tango Papa for the domestic flight terminal, please.
Oscar Tango Papa, welcome to Sydney, taxi Bravo, cross 25, Golf,
Wind shear ahead.
5, Bay,
Wind shear
105.
ahead. Wind shear ahead.
Taxi by Bravo, crossing.
Okay, there, everything's clear. We'll start number 4.
Oscar Tango Papa.
Number 4. And good to run. Set the clock. Alright, AP can go off. Hydraulic demand pumps are auto. NDR's not required. Packs all normal. Wave off received. Flaps are set. Rudder, L1 stab trim is set. Flight controls are checked. Engine NDR's not required. Recoil check.
Ground flight to 431.
And clear.
Delta 3.
MCP set 1500. 161.
Qantas 431.
Control fuse switches are forward.
Company.
Transponders set. Auto brakes TARA. RTO. Radars retested before takeoff checklist. Hold on that one. Or taxi forward.
Just 511, push through, face north.
Push through, face north, just 511.
Ground Qantas 747, ready for taxi. Information hotel.
Qantas 747, taxi straight ahead, Bravo 2, runway 16 right.
Runway 16 right, straight ahead, Bravo 2, Qantas 747. Brakes release.
Feeling 419, ready to taxi for runway 16 right.
Feeling 419, follow company 747, straight ahead, Bravo 2, runway 16 right.
Gonna run number 4 a little high.
Follow company 797. Straight ahead to Bravo 2, 16 right.
And Qantas 431, once that company aircraft passes from left to right, push through.
And a company A320 back from your left right Sheffield. That's the 40.
And Emirates 415, stand 59, requesting push and start.
On the real event they had
Emirates 415, push through.
the fire brigade shooting some water over the top,
Push
water
approved,
cannons.
Emirates 415.
Qantas 747, contact tower 126.5.
120.5, Qantas 747. One 120.5 is set. And 124.4 after departure. Brakes are set. Just got a ding from the cabin. Okay, doors automatic, passenger signs are on, RCO and parking brake. Sydney Tower, Qantas 747, holding short, runway 16 right. Ready. Do request a immediate right hand turn after departure, climbing 1,500.
On a 747, g'day Sydney Tower, stand by.
It could be a while because Tower has to coordinate with approach with what we're going to do.
Qantas 2048, Sydney Tower.
Qantas 2048, Sydney Tower.
Qantas 2048, line up and wait 169.
Line up and wait runway 16 right, Qantas 2048.
Let's see the crew. Cabin crew, please take your seats for departure.
On a 747, state intentions again.
After departure, immediate right hand turn at 1500, maintaining 1500 until overhead Sydney Harbour, and then we'll pass out through Sydney Heads at 1500.
On a 747, stand by.
That's cool.
Qantas 2048 16 right, clear for takeoff. Contact departures when airborne. Have a nice flight.
Qantas 2048, clear for takeoff, contact tower, contact approach on airborne. Get it.
Qantas 747, runway 16 right, line up and wait.
Runway 16 right, line up and wait, Qantas 747. Lights on, please.
Approaching 16 right.
That's the correct runway. Time on the hour, look at that.
On runway 16 right.
Imagine having that seat. Or that one. I think that's my favourite.
Qantas 747, clear for takeoff 16 right. Right hand turn 250 degrees approved. Contact departures when airborne. Have a nice flight.
Right hand turn 250 after departure. Frequency 124.4 after departures, runway 16 right, clear for takeoff. Qantas 747.
Ground just 511 holding short of 16 right on control.
Clock is set.
It's start 511, g'day Simcow.
Thrust stable. Thrust set. Cross track.
Filling 419, Simcow.
V1. Rotate. V2.
There's 07 intersection.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up.
Or T-Jet 419, Simcow.
Runway 16 right, Qantas 1065.
Heading 250.
Qantas 1065, are you currently on a heading or are you tracking direct TSAT?
Approach Qantas 1065, approach tracking direct to TSAT now.
Roger, Qantas 1065.
$220. City departure, Qantas 747, 1500, heading 250.
Qantas 747, g'day, Sydney approach identified. Just confirm you're maintaining 1,500.
Confirm 1500 and tracking to Harbour Bridge.
Roger, maintain 1,500.
1500, Qantas 747.
Qantas 2048, climb flight level 280.
Qantas
Flaps
2048,
5.
climbing flight level
Speed checks, flaps 5.
280.
280.
Qantas 1065, resume speed below 10,000, not above.
Resume speed, Qantas 1065.
Qantas 1065, descend to 8,000.
8,000, Qantas 1065.
Velocity 842, descend to 6,000. Velocity 842, descend to 6,000.
Descending 6,000, velocity 842.
Qantas 1580, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, g'day. 250, have a good one, 1580. Qantas 747, you can resume your own navigation not above 1,500 feet.
Own navigation, not above 1500. Qantas 747. Qantas 747, just confirming we're clear to pass through the centre line 1500.
Qantas 747 approved.
Approved. Qantas 747, thanks.
Sydney approach, velocity 842. Can we slow down now? We're fast consolidated.
There's the Chullora Railway Yards, just off to our left.
Qantas 842, how much do you want to slow down to?
Oh, probably at least 270.
Qantas 842, roger. You can resume your profile speed. You can cancel 250 knots below 10 if you want to do 270.
Yeah, look, we'll keep the 250 if that helps you out.
Elmbosch Bay just off to the right there.
842, brake, Qantas 2048, turn right heading
Ride Bridge straight ahead.
160.
Parramatta just off
Qantas
to the,
2048,
off
heading
to the left
160.
of the river.
Qantas 1065, descend to 6,000.
6,000, Qantas 1065.
Qantas 2048, are you able to, from your present position, track to Wollongong?
Qantas 2048, sir.
There's the bridge that we're after. That's Ride Bridge. We're turning to the right now, tracking along the river to Sydney Harbour.
Departures Jetstar 511.
Jetstar 511, g'day, Sydney approach, identify climb flight level 280.
Climb flight level 280, Jetstar 511.
Velocity 842, cancel starts and left heading 335 degrees.
Left heading 335. Velocity 8.
Glaysville Bridge, we'll roll it out, and we just need to stay to the north of the bridge. Just sees your hand flying at the moment. Going to reduce that speed down to 190. As the speed washes away, we do need to pull up slightly to maintain altitude. Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Opera House, just going under the nose now. Stick up in the seat a little.
Velocity 842, descend to 4,000.
Descending 4,000, velocity 842.
Velocity 842, come
There's
left
Zephyr
heading 330 degrees.
Left heading 330, velocity
30 degrees.
Qantas 747, you can operate east of the runway centre line. Now it's got traffic coming in, and advise when you're ready to return.
Maintain east of the runway centre line and walk out. Qantas 747.
Qantas 2048, confirm you're direct to Wollongong. Whiskey Oscar 2048, confirm you're direct to Wollongong. Qantas 1065, turn left heading 330 degrees.
Left heading 330, Qantas 1065.
Martha, killing 419 at 5,000.
These are the Sydney heads coming up.
Killing 419, get a Sydney approach identified. Climb flight level 280.
Did a rock trim.
Climb flight level 280, killing 419.
There's Manly just over the other side.
Qantas 1065, descend to 4,000.
4,000, Qantas 1065.
Coming up here is Middle Harbour with the Spit Bridge.
Qantas 431, get a
Mossman on that side and
climb flight level 280.
head over this side. Seaforth, Manly, Manly Vale. This is all like neutral bay area.
431, cancel that, climb to 9,000.
9,000,
Want the wing view? We'll need the autopilot for that. Autopilot is in. I'm going to ask for heading on eastbound.
842, turn right heading 070 degrees.
Right heading 070, velocity 842.
Just going back behind the wing.
Qantas 1065, reduce your speed not above 180 knots for seconds.
Yeah, roger, reducing 180 knots, Qantas 1065.
Velocity 842, descend to 3,000, base leg, runway 16 right.
Descending 3,000, base leg runway 16 right.
That's the SCG, City Cricket Ground. And the number 3 engine there.
Flight heading 150 degrees.
Heading 150.
Rose Bay, Vaucluse, all the eastern suburbs. Hey, V Geek, I wish I could have been there, and I would have been there if we weren't in lockdown. Totally would have spent $400 for that. Okay, we're going to head northbound now, straight up the coastline, and just climb to 6,000 feet. Not a hard climb, just a little, about 1,000 foot a minute.
Velocity
Cruising out speed 220.
Heading 130 degrees, intercept the localizer, runway 16 right before established.
240 actually.
Right heading 130 degrees. And report when it's
And flaps 1.
the localizer, runway 16 right. Velocity 842.
Quebec 511, contact Melbourne Centre 1250.
415 with you, climbing 2000, sorry, climbing 5000 past 2000.
Quebec 511, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, good day.
Perhaps some of those.
Just 511, good day. Qantas 1065, turn right heading 070 degrees, base leg, descend 3000.
Heading 070, 3000, Qantas 1065.
Emirates 415, good day, Sydney approach identified, climb flight level 280.
Climb flight level 280, Emirates 415.
Velocity 814, cleared ILS, runway 16 right approach, maintain 160 knots or greater until 4 DME.
Cool, straight ahead, up through the pit water. See the broken bay up ahead. Narrabeen Lakes are just below us.
Runway 16 right, maintain at 160 knots or greater till 4 DME.
Okay, sorry, you said velocity 840. 842, maintaining 160 greater for 4 miles DME. Here's the ILS, runway 16 right, and we are established.
Yeah, tickets sold out in 10 minutes, you're right.
Now 120.5, you know.
120.5.
This here is Patonga, straight ahead. That's going to turn slightly to the north.
Qantas 1065, you're 4 miles to the right of the localizer. Maintain 3000
So I'm not going to make it through that.
Right, heading at 120 degrees, cleared ILS 16
I maintain 4000.
Heading 120, 3000, cleared ILS to 16 right, Qantas 165.
Qantas 431, turn right, direct Wollongong.
This little very distinctive hammerhead shape is Barrenjoey Head.
Qantas 431, climb flight level 280.
Northern beaches all the way along there, up to like DY, Narrabeen. And just across the water here, Woy and into Brisbane water.
And Emirates
Up towards
415,
Gosford.
sorry, but can we request direct to Kodam to avoid bad weather?
That there is Patonga.
Emirates 415, your route now you should be direct to Kodam anyway.
And the Hawkesbury River.
I don't know, delivery cleared us at the Wollongong transition, so I'm going direct to Wollongong. I'm not sure what's happened there, Emirates 415.
There isn't a Wollongong transition on the Kodam departure.
No, we were cleared Dina 7, Emirates 415.
See it reloading.
You're going to Dubai?
AFM.
Well, you should have been on the Kodam departure.
You can ask around about that, I don't know, I just read back what they said.
Emirates 415, no worries, that explains why you're going where you're going. You turn right, head direct Kodam.
Yeah, it's not wasting fuel.
Sorry for the shutdown,
It's using fuel, as it should be. For fun. Thanks, Lazar Shoot. Sure, we're VFR. Absolutely. 747 VFR. Inside clouds. Had better weather this morning.
1065, established ILS 16 right.
Velocity 517, G'day Sydney approach, identified climb flight level 280.
Avoca Beach up there.
Tower now 120.5, G'day.
120.5, 1065, good evening.
Lots of turbulence today. Yeah, the weather wasn't the greatest.
Turn left direct.
Well, at least you didn't have too much cloud around. 250 knots. I think the real one went up to about 280 knots. I saw it. We might do it on the way back in.
Feeling 419, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, good day.
This is the Tuggerah Lakes.
Qantas 2048, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, good day.
Just ran through a rain shower.
Qantas 2048, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, good day. Qantas 431, contact Melbourne Centre 1250, good day.
Cool, that's about as far north as we need to go. Start heading back down. It didn't rain. I'm using the current real weather instead of the one that was this morning. And you guys got up to like 8,000 feet before you made the turn back.
Qantas 747, just a bit behind with you, but your control services are terminated, you're outside control there.
Qantas 747, we will request to come back via Brooklyn Bridge at 2,000 feet. Okay, that position right there. $210. No, you weren't. You were just at 8,000 feet. You were directly over Tuggerah Lakes. I saw the track.
Emirates 415, contact Melbourne Centre 1250.
Melbourne Centre 1250, Emirates 15.
City approach, Qantas 747 is tracking direct to Brooklyn Bridge, 3,500. We'll then wish to track to Richmond. Got a request over here on Twitch saying to do a power roll.
Confirm altitude you're going to maintain.
3,500. 747.
Qantas 747, that is approved. You can enter control airspace, maintain 3,500 by Brooklyn Bridge and then Richmond.
Right, Brooklyn Bridge, Richmond, maintain 3,500 to enter the control airspace. Qantas 747. Our bridge is down there somewhere. That's the Mooney Bridge right there that we're about to fly over the top of. Stick it onto the right hand side of the aircraft. If you've ever driven between say Sydney and Newcastle, The Mooney Mooney Bridge is the big one that goes down a big hill and back up again.
53517, contact Melbourne Centre, 133.0, g'day.
JP Aviation is wanting faster. Let's go faster. They did indeed go to 80. It's going to turn slightly. There's the Mooney Mooney Bridge. I'm sure most people that live in Sydney have been across that at some point in their life. And this is Brooklyn Bridge just off to our left there. Okay, we're just going to pass the Wiseman's Ferry and head on towards Richmond Air Force Base. Indeed, doing this in FS 2020 will be quite fun.
Melbourne Centre 1250, g'day.
150, quite simple, isn't it?
Clear 3 arrival, from 6 right, when ready, descend flight level 250.
Got Wiseman's Ferry down that way. No, it's up there. That's Wiseman's Ferry right there, that big U-turn in the Hawkesbury River. I think we'll put ourselves a little bit too far south, but that's alright.
2048, contact centre 124.0, g'day.
Sorry, Qantas 2048, can you repeat?
Qantas 2048, contact centre on 124.0, g'day.
124.0, 124.0 centre, bye.
Number 7, Qantas 747, 3500, tracking Richmond and then Sydney.
H101.
Descend 210,000, QNH1017, just up 580.
Number 10, Qantas 747 at 3500, tracking Richmond and then Sydney Harbour.
Qantas 747, centre.
Melbourne Centre, Pelican 315, climbing through 9,000 to 17,000, through to Williamtown.
Speed back to 240.
Look to 315, centre.
Just like the real one, we didn't quite make it all the way over the base, but
Qantas
close.
431, contact centre on 124.0, g'day.
124.0, 124, back.
Departures Qantas 7434 with you, passing 2,400 to 5,000 on the Venus.
7434, day.
Hi there, Rossi.
If that was the Qantas 7434, it was just a bit broken.
74, climb to flight level 120.
120, Qantas 7434.
Send down to 2000 again.
Sorry, aircraft calling just a second.
Speed back to 220.
So Echo Sierra, sorry, that was unreadable. Just contact me after departure for your airways clearance.
Papa Center, good day, Qantas 440, flight level 350.
Qantas 440, good day, start clearance, Rivet 3 arrival, runway 16 right, when ready, descend to flight level 250.
Rivet 3, 16 right, down to flight level 250, when ready, Qantas 440.
Qantas 247.
Center, good day, Qantas 401 with you, departed Sydney, climbing through 2,300 and 5,000.
2,000 feet, and we'll take flaps 1.
Climb via SID flight level 280.
Climb via SID, flight level 280, Qantas 401.
Qantas 104, descend via star 8000, runway 16 right, expect ILS approach. Qantas 247, descend 10,000, QNH 1017.
Qantas 440, we'll left flight level 350 and descend to flight level 250.
Qantas 440.
Sure, why not? Let's put that out. Straight at Sydney. Good stuff.
Qantas 747, will you be doing any orbits of the bridge or just proceeding from the Harbour Bridge direct TSAT?
Harbour Bridge direct TSAT, and then we'll head out to Camden.
Qantas 747, copy. Track Harbour Bridge TSAT, plan route to maintain 2000.
Harbour Bridge TSAT, planned route, and maintain 2000. Qantas 747. Look at that, he knows what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, just coming up on the Sydney Harbour again from the north. We'll be turning overhead Sydney Airport, which should present to us on the left-hand side of the aircraft as we make the turn. We'll then continue on down south towards Campbelltown before heading out towards the shoreline. Coming up now,
8180.
Sydney Harbour Bridge on the left.
Qantas 8180. What is that new call sign?
Second, Qantas 8180.
Reconnecting with that new call point. You're still showing up as 7474.
Should be changing over in a minute. We did reconnect with 8180.
Departures, Qantas 65 crossing 3,500 for 5,000 for you.
Aircraft calling to say your call sign.
Qantas 65 crossing, approaching 5,000.
Qantas 65, identified, climb via seat to flight level 280.
Climb by seat, flight level
Shame we can't go
250,
under the rig.
65.
Jetstar 518, descend via star 8000, runway 16 right, expect ILS approach.
Send via the sub at 8,000, and we'll expect the ILS approach on runway 16 right, Jetstar 580.
Qantas 440 approaching flight level 250.
Qantas 440, descend 10,000, QNH 1017.
Descend at 10,000 and 1017, Qantas 440.
Qantas 104, descend 6,000. Jetstar 518, descend 6,000.
Descend 6,000, Jetstar 580.
Speed 240. And perhaps attract. And we'll take 250 knots.
Qantas 104, cancel star, turn left heading 010.
This will be the M5 freeway coming up. Over there we have Alfred's Point Bridge. Been over that a few times in my life, this one here.
Tango Delta Sierra, identified with...
That's the Georges River.
Via ActiveSky land route, climb to 10,000. Qantas 104, contact approach on 124.4.
Bankstown Airport right there. And the Chipping Norton Lakes just beyond Bankstown. Chipping Norton's just in there. I reckon there's a 747 simulator just in that section of the world. Probably there, actually.
Jetstar 518, contact approach 124.4.
124.4, Jetstar 580.
What did we file for the final leg? 1005. Cool. At Seacliff.
Mercy 415, Northward.
Emirates 415, sorry, I was just focused on. Leaving my coverage just now, change to Unicom 228, see ya.
Over to Unicom, thanks for the coverage, have a good day.
This is the Campbelltown area, possibly even further down, like Milkrun Fields, that kind of stuff.
Qantas 247, contact approach on 124.4, g'day.
124.4.
Ingleburn.
Qantas 74, Qantas 8181.
Hume Highway going down there. Yep, that's a Hume Highway. Drive on that long enough, you'll end up in Canberra.
8181. Sorry, just got to change all side. Just give you a new squawk code. Change your squawk to 3714.
Okay, we'll turn around here at Camden Airfield.
3714.
And from there we'll head on out to the Sea Cliffs.
Qantas 440, contact approach 124.4.
124.4, Qantas 440, g'day.
There's the airfield. That's Camden. We'll turn out.
Qantas 8180, thanks. And your start clearance is a Bungo 3 Alpha, runway 17, maintain flight level 120.
Bungo 3 Alpha, runway 7, maintain 12,180.
Qantas 65, climb flight level 340.
Flight level 340, Qantas 65.
Velocity 517, you're leaving my coverage now, change to Unicom 122.8, yeah. Qantas 401, climb flight level 340.
Climb flight level 340, Qantas 401.
Project 299. I just got the route from looking at it on FlightAware and Radar 24. And I just overlaid some maps on it and figured out where they went.
When ready, descend to flight level 250.
It looks like they were using the VFR reporting points instead of IFR. It's pretty interesting.
Runway 16 right and descend.
I'll review it once we get back onto the ground. Speaking of getting back on the ground, we do need to set up some stuff now. Auto brake 2 for landing. We will be using flaps probably 25. Oh, I can do flaps 30, that's cool. 134 knots will give us a approach speed of 140 essentially. Run a landing checklist. Okay, altimeter is still set. Set checklist pressurization is already set for the departure. Departure wants me. Qantas 747, switch over to departure.
Qantas 747, air contact approach 1.
747, thanks. Seeing departure, Qantas 747 at 3,000 feet.
Qantas 747, departure, can I just confirm with you IFR or VFR decision?
Well, VFR, tracking Sea Cliffs and then up to City Heads.
Qantas 747, understood. Just make sure you remain outside controlled airspace, frequency change approved. And squawk 1200.
Unable. Request to enter controlled airspace at 1,500 at City Heads.
747, you confirm you want to enter controlled airspace at Sydney Head and then track direct where?
Track Sydney Harbour Bridge and then into an approach runway 16.
Qantas 747, okay. Remain outside controlled airspace, I will advise.
747, okay. Outside controlled airspace is going to be tough because controlled airspace is 500 once we pass Wunala. Anyhow, we're at Sea Cliffs. A little bridge just down there.
Aussie 723, contact Melbourne Center 125, decimal 0.
Melbourne Center 125, decimal 0, Aussie 723, stay on it.
There's a Sea Cliff Bridge. Beautiful little S-bend in the bridge there. And we'll descend down on 1005.
Qantas 747, just confirm you are maintaining outside past Charlie airspace.
Get up with that. We'll come request a way to control airspace 1500. What's that?
Qantas 747, understood. I did say to remain outside controlled airspace and I will give you a clearance shortly.
Have to go around and around here.
Qantas 747, you're cleared to Sydney Harbour via the Sydney Head, so you can descend 1,500. Expect a further right turn shortly for vectors and then I'll bring you back around.
Descend 1500, Sydney Heads, Qantas 747. That delay in clearance got a bit sporty on us.
Qantas 747, fly heading 050, just short vectors to keep you away from aircraft departing.
Heading 050, Qantas 747. Zero 40 set. Come back in the old flight. Thanks for that, Josh. I do remember that. Fortunately, we weren't inside at the time.
1018.
1018. Qantas 747.
Qantas 747, turn right now, 090.
Right, thank you, 090, Qantas 747.
Melbourne departures, just up 503, passing 1,100 for 5,000.
Jet 503, Melbourne, sorry, Sydney departures, g'day, not yet identified, just having some issues on my client here. Cancel the SID, turn right heading 200, climb and, climb flight level 280.
Right 200 and climb 280, just up 503.
Colonel just over there. Pity we're heading out to the sea, but anyway.
Jetstar 503, verify passing level.
Passing 3,200, 3,300 now, Jetstar 503.
Jetstar
Flaps
503,
one,
thanks
three
for
checks.
identified. Resume our navigation direct Wollongong Whiskey Australia flight plan route.
Direct Wollongong flight plan route, Jetstar 503.
Qantas 747, turn left heading 040.
Heading 040, Qantas 747. Hi there, Twitch. We're using the PMDG 747-400 for prepared version, whatever it is, 4.5. Also the FTX Australia version 2. And Flytampa Sydney.
Sydney departures, good evening. Pelican 315, we're 30 nautical miles short of Richmond, heading off to Williamtown.
Last station calling, step on.
Pelican 315.
Qantas 747, track direct Sydney head. You can expect to go to quite shortly.
Direct Sydney heads, Qantas 747.
And the other station calling, you call up.
Pelican 315.
Pelican 315.
Oh, JB, yeah, not far from Melbourne Airport. Take me about maybe 10 minutes to get there.
In, we're heading off to Williamtown, just 27 nautical miles north of Richmond.
Roger, stand by. I haven't got you on my scope.
Here's what we're flying, the old Boeing 747-400, last one of Qantas aeroplanes
Pelican
of this
315,
type.
got you now, thanks.
First designed in 1969.
Qantas 747, contact Sydney approach 124, stage Northward.
Approach 124.4, Qantas 747.
Right, heading 130 and cleared for the ILS approach Qantas 440.
And Qantas 440, in the turn, reduce speed to 180 around.
And 180 knots, Qantas 440.
City approach Qantas 747, 1500, tracking direct City heads, then Sydney Harbour Bridge, and then for approach runway 16, whichever one you want.
Qantas 747, thanks. Clearance limit of the Harbour Bridge at this time, 2NH1018.
Remain east of Harbour Ridge and 1018, 747. Okay, he's only cleared us out to the Harbour Bridge, making orbits if we don't get clearance onwards from there. I'm going to slow down. Let's get at 190 knots. Flaps 5. Flaps 5 coming. That's Manly right there, and this is Sydney Heads. Walkloo's just beyond it. Bondi Beach would have been visible just off the right there. Off the left, sorry.
Sydney approach velocity 1680. Review current
190 knots set. Cover traffic, flaps 10, speed checks, flap 10.
Continuing that report, we are currently descending through 18,000 feet. Velocity 1680.
Velocity 1680, Sydney approach today, descent to 6,000 via Star. Runway 16 right, expect ILS approach.
Descend via to 6,000
Thanks, Captain AB.
Runway 16 right, expect the ILS approach.
Take flaps 20, speed checks, flaps 20. And slow up to 180.
Qantas 747, traffic is Qantas 440, a Boeing 737, joining an 8 mile final, runway 16 right, for the traffic stop.
Qantas 747, got the traffic.
Qantas 747, thanks, report to runway inside this time.
Both runways in sight, Qantas 747.
Qantas 747, thanks, behind, there's Qantas 737, runway 16 right, cleared a visual approach, number 3.
Runway 16 right, clear visual approach, number 3, Qantas 747.
At Qantas 440, we're established on
Gear down.
runway 16 right, ILS.
Qantas 440, thanks, traffic for you is Qantas 747.
Speed 160.
747 is tracking the Harbour Bridge time, is it about your 10 o'clock, 3 miles low? Still
Aircraft.
clear of you, start it down at 120.5.
Okay, 120.5, and we have that traffic inside. Qantas 440, good night.
Thanks, good.
Sydney approach velocity 1680. We'd like to request a quick hold here to the left, if that's possible.
Velocity 1680, negative, I'll give you a vector to add some extra track miles.
Awesome, thank you for that approach velocity 1680.
This will be a bit of a sporty U-turn here.
Velocity 1680, depart boogie heading 050, you can expect a left-hand circuit runway 16 right.
Depart boogie left hand circuit and 050 for that one, wasn't it? Velocity
Here we go.
1680.
Velocity 1680, hey firm, depart the boogie heading 050.
Depart boogie heading 050 for velocity 1680.
Just turn 98 with you passing level 18, correction 150 for 110.
Just 298 Sydney approach, good evening, descent to 8.
Speed brake armed.
Via the Star, runway 16 right, expect ILS approach.
Flaps 30.
By the Star, expect an ILS, runway 16 right, just 98.
And speed 140.
47, you've got approximately 5.5 track miles to run. You can kind of down now 120.5, bye-bye.
105, Qantas 747. Here's where you need 2 pilots. Runways in sight. We'll continue lining it up. It's a little uncomfortable, but there we go. Done.
Okay.
Qantas 440, runway 16 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 16 right, Qantas 440.
Sydney Tower, Qantas 747, established.
G'day, Sydney Tower. Qantas 747, runway 16 left, clear to land.
16 left, clear to land. Qantas 747. That was a sudden change of plans. Okay, speed is 139. Set. Lights are all on, have been on for the whole flight. And coming in on the slope.
And Compass 7002 Bay Domestic 16. Request push start.
Flight director is on.
7002, g'day. Yeah,
Push start approved, thanks. Compass 7002.
All the spotters of my flight will be very unhappy that we're landing on this runway.
Approaching 16 left.
16 left confirmed.
Sydney Tower.
She's stable.
Qantas 440 will clear the runway for domestic Bay 8. Sorry, we got a little disconnect there.
My throttles.
Qantas 440, no worries. A taxi by Bravo, cross 25 to the bay.
Got a taxi by Bravo, cross runway 25 to the bay. Qantas 440.
On profile. On speed.
Long landing. Long landing.
Manual braking.
Remaining. 3,000 feet. Remaining.
Pass it by, next one. Indeed, what is that runway texture? I think it's two on top of each other. It's a bit odd.
Qantas December 247. Thank you, good night.
Other Mattia, we're using Flytampa Sydney, and it's P3D version 4.5. So yeah, Flytampa Sydney.
Qantas 104, thanks for flying, good night.
Qantas 747 back at it.
Qantas 747, welcome to Sydney. You can taxi by Tango Lima Bravo, cross 25 to the bay.
Tango Lima Bravo, cross 25 to the bay. Qantas 747. Let's go out to the side view. Come back from it. Not quite sure where I am. Pretty sure I'm not on the centre line. Let's try it. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Cool, we still need a taxi all the way back to the gate. Actually, it's not even the gate, it's inside the hangar, wasn't it? Not sure if the hangars are open. Can we open them? Don't think we can. Oh well. For the real event, they taxied into the hangar, I think. Someone on this chat was on the flight. Did they taxi straight into the hangar, or did they go back to their gate?
And Tower Compass 7002 by domestic 16 with information QNH 1017, request taxi 16 right.
Compass 7002, taxi wide Charlie to Bravo 2 holding point.
Charlie to Bravo 2 holding point 16 right, Compass 7002.
747s were always on the international routes at Qantas. Of course, now they're not anymore because there aren't any. The end. We have 1 hour and 4 minutes on the clock. So we're about 4 minutes later than... We took 4 minutes longer than the real flight, but oh well. My passenger got more money. Got more for the money. Yeah, the big routes that the Qantas 747s are on were always like, you know, Melbourne to Johannesburg, Sydney to Los Angeles, Sydney to San Francisco, Brisbane to Los Angeles, and all that stuff. But this is the last one. It'll be doing another Joy flight in Brisbane, one more in Canberra, and then on the 22nd of this month, just a couple of days off, next week, next Wednesday, this aircraft will be flying home to the United States. No passengers on board, into I think it's Mojave, where it's likely to spend several months and or years sitting in the desert until it gets broken up for scrapped. Won't fly again. Yeah, that's right. They said the old Sydney London via Bangkok, Qantas 1 route. Flew into Japan, flew to Kai Tak back in the day, in Hong Kong. It's interesting to see them go so quickly, because this aircraft wasn't actually due for a D-check until I think November. They just retired it early. .747 parted out? Yeah, probably will be. I can imagine that some freighters might use parts. But let's be honest, it'll just be chopped up. The cockpit will be chopped off at first, given it's Mojave. They usually keep the cockpit for a little while. Sometimes they make them into flight simulators, but I don't think that'll be the case in this one. Unless there's an enthusiast that wants it. This is the old Wunula Dreaming. Used to be the big red one. The one with the grey engines. But, you know.
Compass 7002 is ready, holding point Bravo 2.
Compass 7002, runway 1.
Dan Hammond reckons it'll fly again? Yeah, fair enough.
123.0, contact departures when airborne.
At some point there are leases, so...
Wilco, do you have a heading for us?
There might be an airline that wants it.
Yes, my apologies. Forgot you're on the vicinity. Stand by 1.
Confirm okay.
People in the industry might know better.
Compass 7002, roger, line up and wait.
Ah, South American company.
Line up and wait, 165, thanks.
Cool.
Compass 7002.
I'm assuming it'll be a freighter at some point. A lot of the 747s are being converted to freighters, and they make really good freighters. Let's not mince our words. 747 is probably the best civilian freighter in the Western world. Especially with an opening nose. That's like A+, 10 out of 10 design there. Just for new people watching, we've still got the transponder transponding Charlie. That's been the procedure for a little while now. Essentially, we've got a radar surveillance system in Sydney. They can see a transponder on the taxiways. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Qantas is 400 ERs. The only 400 ERs for passenger service. All the other ERs are freighters. ER being extended range, so it had an extra fuel tank in the back. We were cleared across. No one's answered my question. After your flight in the 747, did you go to a gate or did you go to the hangar? Because I saw photos of people in the hangar coming out from the stairs. Looked interesting.
Okay.
Velocity 1680, Sydney Tower.
Just after 98 Tower, g'day with you.
Just after 98, g'day, Sydney Tower.
Hangar 96. Thanks for that, Dan. Is that the front hangar or the back one? Domestic 1 or domestic 1A? That one, isn't it? Around the back. Cool, we can do that.
Do you want me to vacate? Compass 7002.
Compass 7002.
Yeah, I saw the photos from the hangar. I was like, okay, it's got the stairs up in the hangar.
Understood.
Pretty cool.
Compass 7002, thanks for your patience. Runway 16 right, clear for takeoff. Heading 190 unrestricted, contact departure.
The one right next to the terminal? Cool. Thanks for that, Dan.
Right turn 190, Wilco, thank you, and good night. Compass 7002, see ya.
Compass 7002, be advised, departure frequency now 124.4, that's going to fly.
We'll go inbound from here.
1244, roger.
It'd be good to stick ourselves into there Is that the space next to the... Might be. We'll see.
Runway 165 cleared to land.
Close to land just outside 98, thanks.
I'll have to have a couple of simisms here because I don't think we can open the doors to the hangar on this side. I have to go around the other side where there's an open hangar. We'll go around. Good thing about being so light, we could stop on the runway so quickly. Didn't even need to use all the brakes. Yeah, I'm thinking they took it to that hangar, didn't they? Yeah, FSDT opens up. Pity we can't, but we'll just have to go around to the other hangar, where the other 747 is, funnily enough. Glad there's no dash 8s here. Maximum 744. Well, that's good, because we're one of them.
All stations, Sydney Tower logging off in 5 minutes.
Any open doors out here, please? Nope.
Just up to 98 vacating, I believe we're on Lima.
Plug it into here, I guess.
Yes, that's 298. Negative, you're on Bravo 8. But that's alright. You can taxi via Bravo, cross runway 25, then Golf to the bay.
Bravo, cross runway 25 and Golf to the bay, just up to 98. Thanks for that.
No worries.
Oh, we'll call this the hangar. Close enough. Parking brakes are set. AP on the bus. And shutting it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that would have been a nice fight. The 747 down to Antarctica. We may need to relive that one day. And fuel. And the checklist. Okay, strobes are off, landing lights are off, taxi lights off, nav off, stays on, beacon off, logo lights off, stab trim, should be 6,
All stations,
pretty much is.
Station Sydney Tower logging off now. Monitor Sydney approach 12.
Bye bye, Sydney Tower. It's good knowing you. Speed brakes are down, radar off. Terrain side on, cool. Transponder standby. Auto brakes off. Signs off. Requesting deboarding. Cool. Seatbelt signs off. Done. IRSs off. Actually, we'll leave that on because we're going to have passengers coming through the cockpit, so we'll leave that set. Cool. Be nice of them to see the actual artificial horizon and the map instead of the old, you know, shut down aircraft. Chocks are in and requesting ground power. Window heats off. Leave the trim air in and one of the recircs on, actually both of them. Standby power, yeah, take it off. External power's in. I think we'll leave the APU on for the air conditioning. Fuel pumps off. Cargo heat is off. Beacon is off. Fuel control switches are cut off and the shocks are in. And the brakes can go. Indeed, you may look around the cockpit. Yeah, I can't get to that one, Lachlan, unfortunately. I'll be working. The clock, 1 hour 28 minutes. I'm just going to grab something, be back in a minute. Going to go to the outside view now, as we're parked here at the. We've got a 737 stuck up our. Spectacular. We'll make him go away. And let's open up some doors as well. This all doors open up 1, 2, and I think that's the only ones that they used on the day. And so I'll just zoom out to the nice view here. As you watch some of the passengers jump on out, I think GSX is wanting that last door open, isn't it? Let's give it what it wants. And I might play a tune. the old still call Australia home, also known as the Qantas ad for the last decade or two. So with that, I say thanks for watching. And that has been a flight around Sydney, the last time in the 747-400. I have been a musical aviator, and I will leave you with 1 minute of silence, alone with this Boeing 747 being deboarded. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.